welcome back to the channel, and what's the third video on this 2016 Abarth 595 Salvage rebuild. So as you know from last video, if you watched that, we've got the wing on and we've got the old arm off. Now I've had a few parts delivered, so we've got the replacement arm, new headlight, and then later today the new the replacement intercooler is due to arrive, so we should be able to get all this front corner rebuilt again. Still not got a bumper. There was one that came up in colour, but it was all the way down in Wimborne. It's still on there now. I think it's on bids at 100 quid, about 2 days to go. It's a long journey, but even if I won it for 150 say, and I drove down there on a full tank of juice and back, what's that, on 220, it's still cheaper than anything else that I would have to rub down and get resprayed. So I'm not sure yet, I'm still undecided. The only other option is a bumper delete. I mean, that would look a bit shy, wouldn't it? But anyway, so let's get started. Let's try and get this new control arm on, and yeah, we can get it back down on its feet again. So there's the new and the old. See where the difference is. That's where it took all its bend. That's up in the air. That's nice and flat on the floor. So yeah, and it's the right one. It's the right one for the Abarth because it's a larger metal in there. Okay, it was a pain to get off. Well, let's hope it's easier to get back on. Okay, so I've got some grease. I just had to clean this all out. It's absolutely full of debris. So it just got trapped in there over the years. But yeah, just put some grease on there, and I'll put a little bit on the other side in there. It's where it's up to there, and then just see if this will slot in. Very tricky. I think we sort of got it in place. Just a bit of final adjustments to get that screw or the bolt hole in place, both sides. Oh, blooming out, what a struggle. so that is the lower arm all in place, that thing back on, yeah, all good. I raised this up with the jack before I torqued up the bolt in there and that one there as well. So yeah, good to put the wheel back on, I think. Oh, the intercooler's come, so I can whiz the new intercooler on, and then yeah, it's starting to come together. Right then, the intercooler's off. It had them use once clamps on. I thought they were Jubilee clips when I first glanced, but they weren't, so I've had to break them off. I've just got some Jubilee clips to go on. Bent the bracket back and sprayed it up to give it a bit of protection because all the paint had come off, or a lot of it had. But yeah, I think that should be ready to take the new intercooler now. Right, so intercooler's back on, all that. I think it's almost done on this corner. So I'll get the wheel arch lining back in, wheel on, and we can lower it down to the ground again. All right, so didn't film most of that putting back together, but wheels on, back on the ground. It might be a little out of alignment. I think it turned very slightly to the left compared to the other one, so I might have to do that tie rod end, whatever it's called. But anyway, yeah, pretty pleased with that. It's looking smart. Lights in as well, and the intercooler. Just got a little gap there between that bracket and that on the wing, so I just have to adjust that slightly, probably knock it out a tiny bit from inside, but it's looking smart. Pleased with that. Very pleased, very pleased. Yeah, and the wing is a pretty good colour match. It's hard to see in this light, but yeah, it's bang on that there. Looks a little bit yellower, but it's dirt, that. So yeah, fantastic. Ooh, right, a bit of elbow grease, and I've got the black spray tints off the backlights, so that looks a hell of a lot better. I used a bit of cellulose thinners, and I also used a bit of brake fluid. Took quite a lot of rubbing though, if I'm honest, to get it like that. There might be just a little bit down here, but yeah, much happier with that. Oh, so there we have it. I've got it turned around now, so then every time I start the engine I don't fill the garage with fumes, it'll just go straight out. But yeah, all we need now really to finish it is that bumper. Yeah, very pleased with that. So what else have I found? Last night when I turned it round and brought it up, you'll have seen on that previous clip, or you'd have heard that it didn't sound too healthy, I don't think. Hopefully just needs a bit of a service. So I gave the engine a bit of a wipe. It took about 15 minutes or so, but already just under there looks a lot better. Now when I checked the air filter, I don't think that's been changed for a while. There's I think it's date code. There's obviously no date on it, but when I've had a look online, this number that I assume is the date code, 076, I think was August 2020, and it is pretty filthy. So it might be, I was in there, sorry, it might be about nearly getting on for 3 years before it's had a service. Also the dipstick, let me just put this camera down. So the oil, very low, if nothing at all. In fact, it's just on the bottom. So I've got this rod here. If I put that in, it'll go in further than the dipstick. It'll go right to the bottom of the sump, but just to make sure there is some oil in, I did this. Come on. Here it at the bottom. So there we go. So there's about an inch and a half of oil in there, so it's not run totally dry, but yeah, not enough. So the last owner, Charles, has not maintained it very well at all, so it does need a service. Shame on you, Charles. You could have destroyed this. Let's hope it's not done any damage not having a service. But I'd imagine as well the timing belt, if it's not changed oil or even topped up the oil, then certainly timing belt's going to need doing, isn't it? So I'll get a service kit for it. I'll do the air filter, oil change, oil filter down there, spark plugs, cabin filter, coolant. Looks a bit, I don't know if it looks dirty or what, or just old, but yeah, I may as well flush the coolant out, do that. Brake fluid, dirty. Might need to renew the brake fluid throughout. And yeah, fingers crossed then that I'll have it running nice. Well, okay, that's it for this video, I think. Nothing much more I can do now, so I'll get some more bits and pieces. Bumper, I think I'm going to hold out to get one in colour. I think that'd be the best option. Unless I'm waiting too long and I'll just have to get whatever I can. There's loads in the facelift in grey, but I don't really want to change the look of it. I think it's best to keep it as it should be. What else is there? There's a service pack I need, and then the interior, that is still pretty filthy, so I'm going to give that a full valet, strip it out, get all the seats out, etc., and give it a proper wet and dry vac in there, and then I think it'll be pretty much done then. The wheels could probably do with a bit of a refurb, but I don't know, we'll look at that when we come to it. But yeah, if you made it this far, thanks very much for watching, and if you've liked the video, then give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed already, then please subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much.